Ladies, you don't wait until you into a relationship to self-identify. You should know who you are, what you stand for, where you going prior to you even entering a relationship. Failure to do so will have you looking for your identity in a relationship. You will try to find yourself in in that relationship, in that man, and that's a no-no. This is why a lot of us, if we're not careful and we don't know what we truly stand for or what we truly, where we truly going, we will allow a relationship, we allow a man to condition us to believe that our worth is found up in that relationship. And that's a big no-no, because that's how we go on to be tied down into unloving, narcissist type relationships, because beforehand we didn't even know who we were. So if we didn't know who we were prior to entering into a relationship, we can't self-identify to what we stand for. So this is the lead way to many unhealthy men coming into our lives, and they pick up on the fact. I'm here to tell you, a lot of men, a lot of people in general, for the sake of this video, we just gonna be talking about men. A lot of unhealthy men, they will prey on the fact that you don't know who you are. They're not going to just up and tell you. Some men may, if they good men, if they healthy men, they might say, I don't think you're ready today, or maybe you're not the one for me, because they seeing something in you that you probably don't see yet, and that's failure to self-identify. They see that you in this potential relationship, that you would be willing to or trying to find yourself in that relationship, and the healthy man won't allow that. He'll want you to heal. He'll want you to be able to stand on your own. He don't want you to be dependent on him, for him to have to tell you what you worth or what your value is. He wants you to be able to already know these things prior to coming into that relationship. But back to the unhealthy man viewpoint, they prey on stuff like that. They love women that don't know their worth. They love women that don't know they self-identity. They like for it to be found in them. That gives you the less chances of leaving them when a relationship start to turn toxic, which it will. If you don't know your identity going into a relationship, and you enter into a relationship with an unhealthy man, more than likely that relationship is going to be toxic one way or another. More than likely you're going to stick around longer than what you planned, longer than what you expected, once you start realizing that this relationship is unhealthy. Yes, because you didn't know your worth, you didn't know what you stood for, you wasn't able to self-identify prior to entering into the relationship. So now that you're into the relationship, you're relying on that relationship, and you're relying on that man to tell you your worth. So if he's not telling you your worth, then you're going to do whatever you can in that relationship, no matter if it's compromising on your morals and values, just to get a like from him, just to get him to validate you. And from an unhealthy man viewpoint, you will never be validated. They'll say so much to you, enough to keep you there. And this is why you should always know who you are. But prior to entering a relationship, prior to even trying to entertain anybody, you should know who you are. What makes you that woman that you are? What sets you apart from the rest of the world? What qualifies you as you being whatever your name is? There's nobody else unique like you on this earth. You may be a twin, you may be a sister, you may look like somebody, you might have similar traits and features of somebody, but you're not that person, and that person is not you. It's something that makes you unique. It's something that sets you apart. You should be able to self-identify. So therefore, once you have a healthy self-view of yourself, when you enter that relationship, if that relationship don't work out, if that relationship is toxic, you know that you have the means to leave. You don't have to be like, well, if I leave, then it's over with. Or if I leave, it ain't no coming back. Or if I leave, that's the death to me. Or if I leave, nobody else won't want me. You'll know that your self-worth and your identity wasn't never found in that man anyway. It was never found in that relationship anyway. It was just something that you wanted to give a try, and you was hoping that it worked. But if it didn't work, it's not going to take you out, because you know who you are, and you know that you will still be standing with or without a man, with or without being in a relationship. So that's why it's so important to be able to self-identify who you are. You should never wait to anybody tell you who you are or what you stand for. That should not come from anybody. The only exception that I make is the Lord. The Lord validates his children. You are made in his image. He tells you you are the head and not the tails. You are above and not beneath. So, I mean, those type of things from my father and from your father, you should accept. But from anybody else, it's good to have a compliment and say, you know, I think you beautiful. I think you brilliant. Those things should actually add on to you. You know, they shouldn't be the very things that a man say to you, and that's all that you can reminisce on, that he said that I was beautiful, or he said that I was brilliant, or he said that I'm this. No, you should already know that about yourself. You should already know that about you. You should already be able to know your identity. And whenever a man pay you a compliment, or if he don't, it should not matter to you. It can just be like, okay, thank you, I appreciate that. But one way or another, it don't make you the woman that you are today, because you already know your worth, you already know your value, and you already know how to self-identify. So always be careful. Always take self-inventory about who you are as a woman. What do you stand for prior to getting into a relationship? So therefore, you identify as your own once you enter that relationship. He can't move you. He can't swoove you. He can't do all those things that sometimes unhealthy men will do. And a lot of us, at least once in our lives, we'll run into or potentially entertain an unhealthy man, you know. And if you know how to self-identify, if you know your worth, then you'll know how to maneuver and come up out that relationship without it breaking you, without it setting you backwards instead of forward. Okay, so always discern, do I have a healthy viewpoint of myself? Can I self-identify prior to thinking about dating, prior to thinking about, entertaining any type of man? I want to be able to know that I am who I am. And whether he like it or not, whether the world like it or not, I am who I am because my father made me this way, okay? And remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, So my name is Lashelle. I am a mindset and relationship coach. I help women transfer their mind relationally and personally. So if that sounds like something that you might need help in with your friendships and a relationship, with just seeing yourself as God see you, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave a description and contact information in my description box, and I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, God bless, and y'all please keep the faith.